All right, let's get this stream started. Give me 1 sec. There we go. It's hard to believe it's already February. We're 1/12 of the way through the month, through the year. Jesus. So many things that are coming up this month. All right, I got Unreal open. Yes, I do. So I'm gonna try out this lo-fi hip hop mix and probably see if I don't get a copyright claim on it, because I find that Spotify playlists are pretty hit or miss on the royalty free, copyright claim free stuff. So let's try something on YouTube and see what happens. But it's just really hard to find music that is not safe for live streaming or just YouTube in general. All right. So let's see, where are we at? Will the game capture work? Because I remember that one time it didn't want to work. Ooh, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do windowed. Or not windowed, display capture. In case if I have multiple windows of the engine open, then you wouldn't be able to see one of them. Alright. So last time I worked on doing the health system setup. For the time being, it's got a couple issues, but it's fine for now. I'm gonna leave it as is. It's not the main focus for today. Speaking of which, I did something earlier and I totally deleted it. Or didn't save it. Did it switch? It did switch. Okay. I just want to clean this up. All right, we need to we'll clean this up eventually because that's the health HUD right there. I think I'm going to end up making an actual HUD like for the full game anyways. So we're going to move that eventually. So that's for the stick control. So that's our controller. We're not working with that. We're not spawning the projectile. We're not jumping. We're not using VR. We're not using motion controls. Get out of here. All right. Just wanted to clean that up a bit. So we need to basically tidy up our inventory setup. It's not great right now. It's literally just printing the inventory, the items in the inventory. I'm also gonna have to update the item class probably and the item structure as well, because we want to save a little bit more than this. Let me look at the screenshot real quick that I took, or not screenshot, note. All right. So this is what we need in our structure. We're going to need a lot more variables than what we have. Okay, we're going to need a name, and that's going to be a text. And we're going to detail this. Item name. So this is for the item itself. Let me pull my mic a little closer. Item name and then DS for data structure. Let me just get them all in here. Okay, we're not doing stackable items. We need a thumbnail for the inventory slot image. And that's going to be, I think, a 2D texture. Yeah. Is consumable? No, because all of our consumables are going to be consumed the instant you interact with it. This is all from a tutorial I was watching. Durability, we're not doing durability. I just wrote it all down, but description. Description. I gotta add item. just to be more descriptive. That's going to also be a text, and then we're going to get class. Not class. We're going to add another variable. This one's called, item class. And that is going to be item, the one that we made a while ago. Yeah, that should be the parent, and it's going to be the class. And that should do it for the item structure. I'm just going to rearrange it in a way that makes more sense. So the name clearly makes most sense to have at the top. Then the item class probably. Actually, let's put the two together, the two text-based ones. Item class, mesh, material, item structure, or item thumbnail. Oh yeah, that works. Because remember, these are only items that are... These aren't consumables. They're not like items you can use. It's meant to basically... Well, I think some of them will be usable. I will probably update the inventory at some point for that. Like the idea would be like... well, maybe it'd be a better idea to have that as a separate item, like completely separate from the inventory, but like a key ring. And then say there's multiple keys in the game, you can add all that to the keyring inventory. So it would be a separate inventory, but you wouldn't actually be able to see it. So this will be the base class. So this is for, say if you find a photograph, and on the back of the photograph there's some text. Or a newspaper clipping, or a note, or another something like that. And then maybe to go along with that could be like arbitrary items that are class or quest items, something that you don't necessarily need to. I need to close this. I don't know when that opens up by default. That you need for a specific quest, and then you just pick it up. Say it's in a little box or whatever, and then you go and use it for whatever objective you have for that quest, and that's it. So it doesn't need to be an actual like item. It's just a arbitrary item that is going to be used for this quest. So I don't think we need, because we don't need a separate text variable for the text itself on the item. So like say it's a photograph, and on the back of the photograph there's text that you need to read relevant to the story or whatever. I think that can just be whatever is in the item description. That should be fine. That's thinking of like way down the line, like months, maybe a year from now, who knows. It depends on how long this game takes. All right. So now I want to make sure that the item itself all right, so the tutorial that I watched did something a little different than what I have, and I'm probably going to update it to follow that tutorial, because I'm not about to improvise this. This is going to take forever if I try to improvise. Yeah, if I improvise, this is going to take forever. So I'm just going to follow the tutorial. So instead of having the... oh, these are components. Right? No. Yeah. No, they're not. Okay. So we're going to get... I think that's... Yeah, item mesh and item material. So we're going to get rid of those, because we're going to... Instead of having individual variables for each of these things, we're just going to have the item structure here. And that's honestly would have been smarter to do in the beginning. So, item structure. Is that spelled correctly? Structure, yes. And then, of course, we're going to get the item structure. Just to keep that named consistently, I'm going to change that. Let's see. I should start organizing this. So we're going to make an inventory folder. Consumable items. So all the items, including the objects, the lamp and the light switch, can go in there. Pick up, item interface, item struct. Those can all go in here. And this is going to be called inventory. It would probably be a good idea to put... I might do that, actually. Item. These are actually, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to undo that. Can I undo? Why can't I undo all? Oh, boy. Move here. Couldn't. Oh, boy. What is it doing? I think the files still have the blueprints in them. I'd have to go in and delete the... What is going on? Cancel. Cancel. Just cancel everything. Close. Save. No. Cancel. Why is it not letting me close? Just move all the item stuff back. Alright. Save selected. Close everything. Alright. I was really scared that it was going to try to open... Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Epic Games Launcher. I cannot open Epic Games Launcher because it's going to show one of my work projects. And that is a no-no. I just need to open Unreal Engine because this one is the version that I'm not on for work. I'll fix it after. It's fine. I don't care at this point. Just leave it be. Alright. Oh, something happened. I think my item parent had a stroke. Oh, it did not save the, okay, it didn't save the structure, the item structure. Jesus Christ. Item structure. And then rename that to make it more consistent. Don't open anything. Okay. So we don't need item material or item mesh. We're going to get rid of those. And I feel like something's going to freak out. Yeah. The pickup item. We're gonna have to redo this item blueprint, probably. Just give me a point where I don't have errors. Ah, that's why. Get static mesh. Get material. Get... This material's gonna be like a... Yep, I figured that was gonna be a loop. Material or static mesh object reference, static mesh component. Interesting. So that needs to be edited. Static mesh. Wait. Static. Get static mesh. Yeah, there we go. So never mind, we don't need to edit that. Just give me this blueprint when it's not broken. Awesome. We're gonna have to go through this again anyways. Everything looking good on the stream side? Yeah. Okay. Let's close that up for now. Alright, so we got our item set up, our item structure. And we have our inventory already set up in the player, but we are going to redo that because instead of having it specifically attached to the player as a variable, we are going to make a component instead. And that is a way of creating the code for the inventory and then also being able to reuse it if I want to. So that way I can have it in another project if I wanted to do that or whatever. Inventory. So we're going to do blueprint class, and then we're going to go down here. We're going to find component. It's going to be actor component. BPC underscore item component. And that way we can have our inventory in here. Let me look at this note real quick. I might be way ahead actually. Yeah, I think I'm ahead in the tutorial notes. Let me make the widgets first. Let me do another folder in here. Inventory. I cannot spell. I don't have my actual glasses on. I have blue, what do you call them? Like protective glasses that like block blue light. So that's why it's hard to see. Okay, so we need a couple of widgets here. We need the, I think we need the inventory HUD. We need item slot. I'm already breaking my general rule. I need to label this. Gosh darn it. Underscore item. Widget underscore inventory HUD. And then the third one, what was that again? I forgot. Oh, it's just HUD. And then inventory window. Right. The HUD is, this is going to basically be my, I'm going to name it HUD then. Hold on. Underscore project, Telltale. Whatever. This will be the main HUD that is playing on the screen, or is created on the screen. Come on, phone. Go the correct direction. Please. Please, thank you. And then the last one, I keep going to the blueprint because that's like all, most of the time I just go up there. Widget underscore inventory. Inventory, what was it? Inventory window. Okay. Oh, inventory slot is what it's called, not item slot. It's the same thing, but let's just call it item or inventory. Gosh darn it. I cannot see. I might have to put on my actual glasses. And then we do need another structure, actually. We need a slot structure. And that is basically just going to be... I always go up there. It's just like I default to the create blueprint. Structure, slot structure. It's going to have two variables. One is the item structure. Actually, we don't really need this. Yeah, we don't need this. And the reason why is because the tutorial was making a separate slot structure for the slot because the second variable is quantity, but there is no quantity. Each item is unique. There's no stacking items, there are no consumables that stack together. Each item is unique and individual from itself, from all the others. So we don't need the slot structure. We just need each inventory slot to have the item structure, basically. All right. So we can skip that. All right, okay. Let's go in the inventory window. Oh, inventory component. I named this item component, didn't I? That's supposed to be inventory component. I always do that. Alright, in the inventory component, we're going to add a couple variables here. One is the item structure, I think. Ooh. Actually, it's the slot structure. This is actually the inventory. I think it'll be fine. Item structure. It might be fine if I just do item structure. That way we're just bypassing that whole extra structure. It's just not necessary. Okay, and then we need inventory name. And then inventory slot number, I think, or number of slots. Number of slots. Thank you for that, and go away, stupid bot. This is gonna be an int. And this is gonna be text. And I think these are all gonna be editable, I think. Let me double check. I don't think so. Right, okay. So I'm gonna make a custom controller. This custom controller is gonna be the HUD base, or gonna play the HUD on the screen. For now it's gonna be empty, but when we're playing, and I'm gonna have to migrate the player HUD as well. This will basically control all the HUD elements. Technically this will be custom as well. Screw it. Player controller. No, it's not a player controller, is it? Yes, it is. I'm an idiot. Player controller underscore. I'm just gonna name all this Project Telltale because that's what we're making this for. Project Telltale. And in the settings, not there. Project settings, maps and modes. You're changing this. Select game mode, player controller. This is probably gonna break something because there was already a controller there. I guess that's. Oh, that might be the little. What's it called? Oh, maybe not. There's nothing in here. Oh, that's the game mode. My bad. It's called player controller. Where is that? It's not in here. Character. Where'd it go? Content. What the heck? Oh, that might be default. Yeah, that might be a default Unreal Engine. So I can't see it in the content window. I'm guessing it's engine content. There it is. It's a C++ class, so I'm not gonna be able to change it. That's fine. I just wanted to see what was on there, but I'm pretty sure that just... Actually, no, it's still there. The cursor. That's what I'm trying to figure out what that's called. The cursor in the middle. It's all, that's all the same. Where'd our player controller go? Did I even open it? All right. Okay, so this is gonna be creating our HUD on begin play. So we're gonna create widget, and this will be HUD actually. The HUD that I set up doesn't have anything in it yet, but it will eventually. And then we're gonna create that. We're gonna turn that into a variable. And we're going to add that to viewport. That way it'll be on the HUD. Okay. Yeah, that way it'll be created. It just won't be visible because I'll have to change that setting in a bit. Okay. So this is going to be the hard part because I've never done this part before. So we need to go into the inventory slot. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to close the player controller. Settings can go away. Inventory window can go away for now. Inventory component is all set up. First person character. We're not going to need it yet. Speaking of which, I actually need to make a push. I forgot to do that last time. Oh no. Can't show that. Hold on. Alright. Gotta switch to the right repo first. Then I can show it, but I'm not going to. It's fine. I need to make sure the changes that I've had so far have gone up to the repository. I haven't done that in a while, which is not good. Not starter content. It is content. Oh, it's gonna be up higher. First person. There it is. It's hard to find sometimes. Oh yeah, there's a lot that needs to be pushed. Consumable item, interactive item. Jesus Christ. Yep, that is a lot. It's a really bad idea to not do these pushes every once in a while. I didn't actually change the game mode. Or the... Right, okay. How big is this project? Where am I looking? Nope. Where is it? Oh, it might still be on my old drive. No, that's the old version of the project. Where is it? Epic Games Projects. There it is. Okay. How big is this folder? 700 megabytes. I'll do it another time. It's probably safe to push the actual files. Maybe it's not necessary. It's probably not necessary. Just the ones that I'm changing. Because worst case scenario, I push all the files that I actually change. Somehow my hard drive breaks. I could just download the template for this project and then download the files from the repo, and it should have everything. Because I'm only pushing things that I'm changing. I don't want to push things I'm not going to use. Or changing. Or not changing, I guess. Alright, so let's say this is player health, item class, and child. BPs, and inventory. System. It's a lot. I'm not going to put a description. Another time. There we go. So now we're backed up. Just in case if something goes horribly, horribly wrong. Open Unreal. There we go. Oh, none of these items got fixed. I'm gonna have to actually look through each of them to fix them, but whatever. We're not gonna do that right now. We're gonna focus on the inventory first. Okay, everything's here. I was about to say, what happened to everything I just made? Because it didn't all open. So right now we don't need the item structure, and we don't need the item parent. We need the what was next? Oh, right, the item slot. So the item slot, inventory slot, I mean. Inventory slot. So this is basically going to be the little square that holds the item image and all the, and it's going to store all the information for the actual item. All right. So this, I believe, is basically a size box. I've never done this before. That's why I have to have these notes and screenshots. Right, we don't want a canvas panel. Size box, and then did he in the tutorial name this? No, I think I'm thinking of a different part. Okay. And then what specifically chose like 99 or something like that, 98. .75. I think that might be accounting for padding and stuff like that. 98.75. Alright, and then screen size, field screen, sit like that. I think that's right. Custom. Nope. Desired. There we go. So now we need a border. And I think they added padding to this, 5. And they made this color gray. And turn the alpha down. So it's see-through. Was that this part or was that a different part? Nope, not see-through. That was another part. I think that's the main inventory HUD. All right. And then they added image, I think. An image onto here. I'm going through all of my pictures and notes. For some reason this is, 0. That's why. And then text. I think we're adding on to the... Was it a text or text box? It's going... Oh, I missed a step. There's an overlay. There's an overlay. Hello, Jake. How are you doing? I need to put that on the border. Okay, get rid of the image. Put the overlay on there. Put the image on there. Gonna have to make that fit to the size. Oh, I love you, Jake. Of course they do. And then text. And that should fit. All right. Why is this not the correct size? How does make big? Shoot. Hello, Squiggles. That is an awesome name. Welcome to the stream. Sorry, I have to go back and forth between these screenshots and notes I took because I'm doing something I've never done before. This might be a problem. How do they make this bigger? Oh. It's just make it bigger? Is there not a way to make it the same size as the... Oh, that might be what it is. Okay. Never mind. It's those. Okay, cool. And then the text block. God, I am so handicapped with widgets. This is just not the kind of stuff I do. All right. So we got the text set up as well. Oh, right. We don't need the text because the text is for quantity. We're not having quantity for these items. So we can just get rid of that. Okay. I think that's all set up. I think. Inventory slot. This is the same. Okay, so now the inventory slot needs some variables. It needs inventory. And that's going to be a inventory component, I think, or something like that. Slot index. I cannot read. And slot contents. All right, slot contents. Inventory is an inventory component. All right. And I think slot index is an int. And then slot context, I think that's the item structure. It's technically the slot structure, but we're not doing stackable items, so it should just be the item structure. Yeah, that's the only other thing it could be, because that's the only other structure in the game at the moment. All right, that's done. What is next? They're all editable in instance, right? instance expose on spawn. Yeah, expose on spawn. I always forget about that part. I'm a bad programmer sometimes. I guess that one's just default. And I think that's it for the item slot. Now we're in the item window. Item window or inventory window. I keep calling it item window. I mean, it is the item window, but it's just the whole. This is basically just the inventory. That's all it is. All right, so no canvas. We're getting rid of that. This is gonna be, I think, the same as the slot, basically. Size box. And then we're gonna put a border on that, and then we're gonna make it gray, and then we're gonna make it opaque so you can see through it. And then it's going to be a vertical something. Vertical box, right? I'm so blind. Border, vertical box overlay. Okay. Got it. So basically similar to what I just did. Okay. Size box. And the size, I need to look again because I'm bad at remembering. I mean, really, I could just change this to whatever I want, but 800 by 500. That's fine for now. I will probably change this eventually. Alright, there we go. And then a border. Hello? Border on top of that. That is bright. I'm sorry about that. Just make this 0.333 for now. And the color a bit closer to the light side because that looks good. All right. And then we need the overlay. Right? Did I misremember that order? Nope, vertical box overlay. Also, I recall the tutorial naming one of these components and making it a variable. Oh, I think it's the inventory title. Right, so we need the vertical box, then the overlay, and then the title at the top, and then the grid. So on the border, we're going to add a vertical. Sometimes it doesn't, like, update it. Vertical box. And then the overlay. And then the title, or not title, text. We're adding that to the overlay specifically. And that's going to be centered. All right, and that's the inventory title basically. That is going to be a variable. And I think we're going to call it inventory title. And then we're going to add a grid. I'm going to look at what specifically they chose. Oh, and we need the close button as well for the inventory. It's this grid. And that should be attached to the vertical box. Yes. All right, now we're getting to the tail end of what I actually watched in the tutorial. So after that, I gotta kind of do things on my own. Okay. So we're gonna get rid of these. So on event construct, do I need variables for this? Let me double check. Yes, it does. Oh, right, the close button. Oops. That's gonna be on the I think this. Where'd the overlay go? Did I add the overlay? Oh, I think that's what it is. Ooh, I named this. This is not what I meant to rename. That's what I meant to name. Because that's the overlay. Yep, I moved the wrong thing. There we go. And then we need a button. We need a button. We're gonna add that to the overlay. No, add it to the overlay. You are not gonna be that. You're gonna be to the right. Make sure that's like nice and centered. Yeah, that looks good. If I add padding to that. Okay, there we go. And add a little padding to that as well. All right, that is all set up. I guess I can see if there's an image or something. Is there an X in here somewhere? I think I recall seeing it. Yeah, there's that X. I'll use that for now. Oh. Oh, it's black though. Oops, maybe not. I recall seeing another one. I'm hoping it was default Unreal. There's those. There was a better one. It's like almost in that style. There we go, cross. Okay. And then hovered. We'll figure that part out after, probably. It's been a while since I did buttons in a widget. It's been like a good 7 months maybe. All right. So we have a button in our inventory title. So the only... Okay, we need the title and then the inventory component. Inventory component. I think I just called it the wrong thing, but... Inventory, okay. And this is title. And that is text. And then we're gonna use that. I think I learned that in this project. We use that to... Where's the text? To make a variable that then we attach that variable to the text that we want to actually change. Instead of making a binding, we just, attach it to that variable. Perfect. All right, now that that's set up, now I could do the hard part. If you thought that was a lot, this is going to be worse. Now we're actually programming stuff out. Inventory component, I'm assuming, also needs to be... let me see if it needs to be exposed on. I didn't. Damn it. I don't see that. All right. Oh, well. Too late. Whoa, there's some weird artifacting on that screenshot. That's strange. All right. So on here, we're going to do a for loop. For loop. For anyone that doesn't know what a loop is, or just like in general, like loops in programming overall, what it does is that you give it a condition to basically sift through information. So for instance, hold on. For instance, we're going to take our inventory component and we want to get the slot. No, in what is it? It was called. What's it called in here? Inventory. Literally the array of inventory items. So we're going to get the inventory, and because this is this is supposed to be an array. Oops, hold on. That's really bad. So we're going to basically look at each of the little entries of information in the array, which is supposed to be basically a set of variables. Usually they're always the same kind of variable. There are ways to have different kinds, but they require like a higher level of data storage. So let me find what I was going to do. Inventory component. That's supposed to be an array. So this right here means it's a variable. So it's a single entry of information. An array is a multi-level like collection of information. So it's multiple entries of the same variable type. So in this case, this is the item structure. So this is the information that each item will store. So now we can have multiple entries of the inventory items in the inventory itself. And this for loop is basically going to sift through this information. We're going to get a copy, and we're going to use the index that comes from the for loop, and we're going to go through each entry in the array, and we need to feed it a condition. So we're going to start with 0, and then we need to give it a last index. The problem is that requires... It's not on here. I cut off the screenshot. It requires the number of slots. I think that's in here. Is that not? Number of slots? Yeah. So we're going to take the number of slots. Problem is that this is not going to give us the correct number because this is non-zero base. So this starts at 0. This does not. So you need to actually sacrifice. You need to subtract 1 off of here. That way you get the total number minus the 1, because you have to account for this 0 here. There you go. That should be the total number of times it's going to go through this array. Basically, every time we find an item in the array, we're going to create an item slot or an inventory slot, basically. And that's basically this thing. This little box here. And that has that'll be the image that we're storing in the item itself. That's a pretty decent on the spot summary of what a loop does and what we're doing here with this array. Okay. Back to that screenshot. Right, so we're gonna create inventory widget. So that's what we're doing here. So we're gonna create widget. Oh. No, yeah, that's right. We're going to create inventory slot. And then this goes here. This is the information, basically. And then the inventory is going to be... I should have renamed this to inventory. Inventory is going to go here. Slot index, I think, is just going to come from the index. Yes. is just going to be that index from the for loop. All right. Now, we need to do some math. It's not that much math. Modulo, which I honestly, even after watching the tutorial, do not understand what it does. But it usually has to do with doing some math in order to get the remainder when you're comparing two different numbers. Modulo. Oh, I guess it's called something different now. Well, it's still called modulo. So really, you're just getting the remainder of these two numbers. I think it's just dividing them and getting the remainder. Off the top of my head, I don't even know if that's true. So we're going to do that once, actually. We're going to do modulo with 8. I think we were supposed to go in the grid. And we were actually supposed to set that up. Yeah, grid panel. So we're going to center that. Actually, it might be a good idea to do that. They did it 8 by 3. Oh, Jesus. Too much. So it's 8 columns left to right, 3 rows up top to down, or up to down. Let me double check to make sure that was everything for that. They made that an inventory, or they made that a variable as well. So that's inventory grid, and that is a variable. Yep, and they stretch it out across and up and or up and down. Okay. Add child to grid, set column, set row. Okay, so this is the last bit, I think. So we're going to modulo with 8 because there are 8 columns. And we're going to add child. Oh, I think we need to get the grid. Add child to grid. This will basically make an inventory slot and add it to this grid. Basically as a child is the grid. And the row... Hold on, let me look at that again. Oh, that's different. This is new. Okay, but that's fine. This got updated, I guess. Yeah. So there used to be a separate set column and set row node, but now it's attached directly to add child to grid. So I think it should work the same way. Basically, I just modulo into the column. And then we're going to take this, take this and divide by 8. Can you make that into 8? And that'll be the row. That's going to look pretty. Eventually. I'll fix it at some point. That is as far as I got in the oh Jesus, in the tutorial. I mean, this should theoretically work, but I might have to redo the item itself. Let's actually see what happens if I run this. Cool. So this should be created, right? There's no actual inventory yet, is there? All right. So we had our player controller. So the player controller is creating the HUD. So there technically is something there. It's just not visible because there's nothing in the actual HUD itself. We need to actually create that HUD, or we need to actually create elements and add it to the widget, to the HUD. Normally, you would actually just create it and add it in here, and I think I'm gonna just do that. A good way to test it now, since we know that the health HUD actually does work, I'm gonna move the health HUD to that instead of having it on the player. The health widget, I mean. So we're gonna open that player. What are we working in? We're not using that. We're using that. We're not using that right now, but I'll keep this open. Okay. So we know that the player health widget is working. So we're basically gonna take all this code and we're gonna attach it to the player HUD. I'm gonna disable it here first before I forget. Oh, the widget, or the input. Oh, input is basically the function. Right, because this is a node. It's basically an event graph within an event graph. So I need this. We don't want any of this on construction. Oh no, well, we do. For the first time, and then it's gonna disable itself. Health HUD opacity. Ah, right, because that's an event that doesn't exist right now. There will in a sec. Confirm. We can't have timelines in here. I guess we're gonna have to keep parts of this in the player itself because we can't do a timeline, which is a shame. I guess we're gonna have to do that with multiple components. Multiple things will need this because I see myself using this exact same thing for the dialogue widget. So instead of making it only work for the player health, what I can do is I can make a... Well, I'm going to keep this in the player basically, because this is the only component that won't work in the player controller. Because I guess you can't have timelines, correct? Yes, you cannot have timelines. So instead, what we're going to do is have this as like an open variable, basically. This is going to be target widget. Oh, but the component. I guess it's just the whole widget itself. So this will be widget. And it'll just be class widget. So that way, instead of the player health being updated, it could be the player dialogue or whatever. It could be any kind of widget. So that way, this can stay on the player. So in here, we can actually get rid of that. And wherever we're referencing that, which is right here, we're just going to pull up the player instead. So that would be a good time to actually add the player reference to the player controller. This actually goes here. Is event begin player thing in here? No, it's just event construct. Okay. So we're gonna do that first. We're gonna make the player first. Or get the player ref. Cast to, I forgot what it's called here. First person character. Get player character. Make that into a variable. Call that player ref. Now we have a player ref. there's gonna be a lot of errors, so I'm not gonna compile just yet. All right, so we have the player ref. I think I'm just gonna have this be its own separate event instead of having it attached directly to event construct. All right. Okay. So health HUD opacity, we're gonna connect that there. These are gonna be that event that are staying on the player. So we're gonna wait for that. Would it be a good idea to keep these on here? Probably. I think that's fine. Honestly, this doesn't necessarily need to be just for the health widget itself. This could be for every widget that will appear on the screen and then disappear. So this is basically the delay. Oh, this is different. This is different than I'm thinking of. Because we have health widget delay. Oh, no. Yeah, that's right. Right. Okay. So we're going to promote that. Or we're going to make that a variable. And then we're going to get player. I don't even need to do that. Just grab it from here. HUD opacity. And then we can actually pull that up. Oh. No, that's not right. Player health HUD timeline. Health HUD timeline. There we go. So we're going to make visible, and the target is the health widget. We need to make that an actual variable. Health widget. Delay, and then we're going to redo this again, but this time we're going to make it invisible. Let's move all this down a bit. All right. Okay, so I'll start from the beginning. We got our player cast and our player reference. From there, I'm going to do a delay, just a short one, because we want to make sure that everything loads. And then we're going to play player. Let's rename this. This is really dumb. Create player health HUD. That makes more sense. And then that way we can name all of our widget events the same thing, but change the name of the actual HUD. So we're gonna probably have a duplicate of this to create the inventory HUD, but it's not gonna be based on event construct, which is like once the game starts running. Instead, we're gonna do that on an input. So that's actually gonna be on the player, because I don't think we would have to give this input somehow, but it's better to just do that on the player. That way the player will reference the game mode and create the it'll reference the player HUD widget and create player inventory HUD, essentially. All right, so now that it's creating the player health HUD, it's gonna check to see if it's valid or not. Since it's not valid when you're playing the game for the first time, it'll create the widget, set the variable, add to viewport. It's gonna print hello temporarily, but that's fine. We can get rid of that. Actually, we can get rid of that now because we know that works. Don't delete it though. We're gonna move it out to the side. We're gonna set the player health. The player health is actually gonna be coming from the player ref now. Get player health. And we're gonna get rid of this. All right. Gonna move all this up a bit, and then head health HUD opacity. which is basically that one right there. And we're going to change that, actually. We're going to rename that HUD opacity. We're going to name that HUD opacity toggle. That makes much more sense because we're going to use that for different HUDs or different widgets. All right. Theoretically, that should work. Oh, and it's having a bit of a problem. Target. That is a first-person character, right? Player health HUD timeline. Ah. I need to compile the player as well. Still not liking that. Player health HUD timeline. Right, let's rename that as well here. Player HUD HUD opacity. Gosh darn it. HUD opacity toggle. I might have actually grabbed the wrong one. That's still not like oh, hold on. Is that the issue? I think that was the issue. There we go. That should be working now. If I don't clean this up as I go, it's just gonna stay dirty, the code. I need to keep things aligned and in a specific spacing, or else I go crazy on the inside. See, this one's off. I like to keep it like every half square, like every half big square. Sometimes it's okay to keep them closer, but just to keep my mind at ease. See, like this one is okay because there's some space in between the two. All right, enough of that. This should work. It's only gonna work once. It's gonna create it, and then it's gonna basically fade it out. It's gonna be invisible. Oh. Interesting. Did I actually... Yeah, player HUD. Oh, it might not be visible. That's probably why. Set visibility. Well, it might be better to just do that on here. The designer canvas. Actually, this might be a better idea. Dialogue widget. Oh, right. W underscore player health. Yeah, I don't think the actual tutorial showed what to do with the inventory. Or not the inventory, the player HUD. It never really did. Because the player controller creates the HUD and then adds it to the viewport. They never actually showed that, I guess. But I just created this. Oh, why are you in a weird spot? Anchor you to the center. It's half center, actually. But why is it like that? I don't like that it's like off. Why are you off? Alignment. No, that's not what I want. No, keep that at 0. Why are you the way you are? Is that gonna be fine? I hope so. I keep losing my place in what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. Is this all actually gonna connect because of all the code that I just did? Player health. Oh, actually, I think it is. It's now a variable. Okay. So let's do that instead of using the one that I created. Yeah, delete that. Player health widget. And then do that there. I don't know why I have this twice. I can literally just do it once. There we go. Yeah, get rid of that. Nothing else broke, which is good. Oh, what is this? What is this supposed to be the target of? Was that the widget, I think? Yes, that was the widget. Awesome. Yeah, you gotta make sure you don't break everything doing that. Ah, and there's another one. Alright. No, did not work. So I think we do need to make sure that this is visible. So the player... Alright, let's make this visible first, the actual HUD. Okay. So the widget, the actual player HUD needs to be visible just when it creates itself. So the HUD itself, actually just the child, I think. Ah. Huh. That should have worked. Make visible, or invisible, so it should be working. Unless if that timeline isn't working. That would be my only possible idea why it's not working. Yeah, it didn't actually go through. You can tell. What's actually going on here? See, this is why I need to work in HUDs and widgets more often. I think I need to actually... I can't like do it like that, can I? I don't think so, right? No. I guess I can print. Let's print at the beginning. This is the only option right now, I think, for bug testing this. So it'll print hello if it actually is constructing. Yeah, it's not even constructing. Okay. That's strange. Did I save that? It should have saved. Let's put this back to the normal mode. This can be an eyesore sometimes. That's why I wish I had a second monitor. Edit, project settings, maps and modes. Oh. What happened to the game mode? That's probably why. What game mode is this supposed to be? Oh, you know what? That file I deleted? was very important. Oops, let me grab that from the recycling bin. Yeah, that's the game mode. Right. That was when I was thinking I should probably push all these files to the repo, but I don't really need to. But I should because I just deleted the file. This should fix it. I'll have to set it though, I think. Open Unreal. There it is. All right, let's switch back. Open all the assets. Okay, project settings, maps and modes. There we go, fixed it. And there's our health bar, and it's gone. Because we need to actually set a delay, I think. HUD, graph, delay. Yeah, it's instant, so we need to set it to 5 for now. That's how it was in the player character originally. Oh. It's creating it and then making it invisible. Strange. It's not being made in the player, is it? Not anymore, right? No, it's not being made in the player anymore. Oh, I think it's starting visible. Is it starting visible? Not hit testable. That should be invisible, technically. Visible, not hit testable. Nope, hidden. There we go. Oh, no. Visible. Not hit testable. The render needs to be at 0 to start. That's why. That's why. Because starting at 0, then going... Or starting at 1, then immediately going to 0, and then 0 all the way to 1 gradually with the timeline. There we go. All right. Player health is not registering through the widget for some reason. The widget should be getting the player health. Oh. Yeah, player health is being set as the widget health. Let me open up that widget real quick. Player health. I honestly might not be doing this right. The way that this is working. Let me just verify the progress part, the percentage. Yeah, it's player health. And if we're setting player health, that should be updating the progress bar. It's creating it. Oh, our reference. That's why. Our reference, our variable. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't think we need to create it then. Right, because it's on the actual widget itself. It's right there. You can't see it, but it's right there. So we don't need to create it anymore. We basically... Where am I going? Hold on. Player health, get out of here. Yeah, we don't need to create it. We just need to toggle the visibility. And I guess we don't really need the is valid anymore. This should still be required, though. Hold on. What is going on here? Yeah, that's right. So we're not creating the widget anymore. It's already there. We don't need it. We just need to set this on begin play, which it should be doing right here. And then setting the and like flipping the opacity. So here we're making it visible. Then after our delay, we're making it invisible. So we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that because we saw it was working. There we go. After about 5 seconds. And it's gone. There we go. Beautiful. Now, I know we're working on the inventory, but I want to see if this works. Because if this works, then we can like enable and disable that. That would be perfect. So we need to see. First I want to remove this, or I want to move this. I want to move it. Okay, hold on, don't freak out. All the other blueprints are gonna have a stroke in a second if I compile. I want to move it to the event graph. So we're gonna make a comment here. Player HUD. We're just gonna call it player HUD for now. This is where all of our important player HUD stuff will be. Can I, like, there's 2 lines for some reason. So this event will be here. This will be reused for multiple things too, which is nice. All right. I'm gonna rename this HUD TL. Okay. I mean, we have the things right here, right? No. Oh, right. I was adding player health. Ooh, okay, yeah. So basically, when we're updating the health, one sec. All right, we're good. So basically, this is the health update function. So whenever we were updating the health, we were actually pulling that original node that was creating the widget originally on the player. But now we're not doing that. We actually need to get a game mode reference. I don't think that's a thing here, so we're gonna have to cast to player controller, or controller, player controller. I think it's Project Telltale. Player controller _ Project Telltale. In fact, I'm gonna just recycle this node here. Yeah, that's fine. I'll recycle this. So we're gonna get rid of all that. It's here twice for some reason. I'm gonna delete that. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Owner? There's a couple ways of doing this. Sometimes they don't work for certain things. That looks like it's fine. Promote that into a variable, player controller ref. This isn't really necessary, but in case if I need it, I will have an additional node here. This is basically just another event graph. Just snuggled up right here in begin play. If I need it for future references that I need to set up. Reference node or graph, I guess is what it's called. I think it's called collapse to node when you make it. Reference graph. So all my references will go in there if I need to create them on begin play. That way I can just keep the main event graph nice and tidy. So this now needs to be changed. So we need to get the player controller. Okay, so the player controller. I don't think we need the player controller. Player HUD. Yes, we do. We need the player controller. Oops. Player controller, we need to get the HUD. Get player HUD. And we need to get player health widget. And then we need to toggle that. And that's going to basically pull that health widget and we're going to toggle it. Hold on. Oh, if it's less than, no, when it's greater than 0. So if you're dead, it's not going to pull this up. Actually, it might be a good idea to do both, but for now we're not worrying about player death. It's not actually player death. There's no actual health in this game. It's something similar, but not the kind of health that most games have. So we're gonna, I guess we're gonna have to do the whole, well, instead of pulling this up, we're just gonna pull player HUD opacity toggle. Oh, but then we need to pass a reference, right? Right. Okay, so so we need to get rid of this, and instead we're gonna attach these here to the widget. So this will be the widget that we're going to toggle, and that way we can change it and add it to this event here, and then we can do the same thing in the player. So we don't want that. And then we get the player health widget. And then we attach that as the widget we're actually going to toggle. And then again, we can redo that over and over again for whatever widgets that we have attached to the main HUD. So the dialogue widget, the health widget, if we had a compass, we could do with the compass. Whatever. So we're going to update the health here 1 and 2, and that should toggle the health bar. Let me let it go away first. Yep. Oh, okay. So it's remember, it's toggling it every time. Yeah, so that's a new bug now because we changed it. It's no longer creating the widget every time. It's now just toggling it on and off. And every time we run this, we're actually trying to toggle it and make it visible again. So, let's do a quick branch here. What we're going to do is we're going to check to see if that widget is already visible. Is visible. a nice little handy boolean that you can get from widgets and other stuff that can be visible, invisible, which is pretty much everything actually. If it is visible, if it is not visible, we're gonna toggle it to be visible. If it is visible, I want to bypass that and just go straight to the delay. Now, I wonder what this is gonna do. Oh, is visible. It's false. We're gonna make it. That should work. Oh, it's not visibility. It is visible technically. It's opacity. Get render opacity. Right, we're not actually setting the visibility because visibility is on or off. There's no way to do in between. It's the opacity of the actual widget itself. I need to open that up. Is that called render opacity? Yeah, render opacity. I think that's what we're changing, right? Let's check the player. Yep, render opacity. Okay, so if the render opacity is already greater than 1. Let's just say it's greater than, or not greater than 1, greater than 0. That means it's already, oh god, don't open Visual Studio. That means it's already turning on basically, or being made visible. Okay. There we go. And then it should turn off. Cool. So I'm pressing 1 over and over again, and then it went invisible. So I wonder if I keep pressing 1. Huh, okay. So, oh Jesus. Oh. Oh, right. Yeah, we also do need to update this as well. Right? Because technically, hold on. All right, first let's go back in here. We're not, this isn't create anymore. This is now player health HUD. Right, okay, so what we could do is just do this instead. Player health HUD. That way it'll get the player health and retoggle. So we don't even need to do this. And we don't need to do this. Get player health HUD. That doesn't need the HUD reference because it's already referenced in the actual HUD right there. And that should be false. Oh, well, it's gonna be both. Whatever. Remember, it's not actual health. We'll fix that eventually. Set. Oh. Get render opacity. Oh, this is get if the render. God damn it. This is the actual HUD itself right here. Health. No. No, yeah, that was right. Darn it. Get health widget. That's what this is. Ah, okay, it's creating it here. This is wrong. If it's less than... Let's change that to... How was I doing it in here? If it's greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, don't create it. If If it's not, or if it is 0 or less than 0, but it's not physically able to do that, it'll create it. But it won't update it. That's the problem. Then let's just handle that in the actual HUD itself. Let's just trigger this event from the player health update and let the HUD handle that. The HUD's already handling it, so I think we're good to go. And that should work. And I noticed that even though the HUD was still visible, I noticed even if I was pressing add health, it wasn't actually increasing, or it wasn't actually turning it on again, because remember, there's a delay. So I press health increase. Now it's full. If I keep pressing buttons, theoretically it's trying to toggle it and then have the delay. It can't actually add the delay. That's not how delays work. I need to find a way to fix that. So, okay, for the purpose of the health HUD, that is working. Now, let's do the same thing, but for the dialogue widget. Let's get everything on here first. I want to get these things attached to the HUD, because it's nice to have everything all on one screen, basically. One thing I'm not too sure of is that I don't think the HUD is set up perfectly just yet, because I'm not super I'm not very experienced with widgets and HUDs and UI in Unreal. I've only done it a couple times, but that's usually like months and months ago. So at this point, none of that information has been retained. But I definitely want to redo the dialogue widget look. It's not correct. Okay, let's just close everything we don't need right now. Let's close all the inventory stuff for now. Let's get all of the HUDs that I already have working on the, or all the widgets that are working on the HUD. So we're gonna add dialogue widget. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's not right. I don't know if that's like, okay, that's fine. We're gonna anchor this to the bottom middle. Zero, 0. Oh. Why is it so tiny? Oh, right, because I think it destroyed the size. That's why. Let's make those how they were. If I put that at the very bottom, middle, what is that going to look like? Okay, we'll leave it there. So now, we don't need to create this on begin, or on construct, basically. So we can leave that like that. So we're going to take, I already forgot how we're doing this. I guess we need to open up that interactive item, because the interactive item is creating the widget and then destroying it or removing it. It's not really, well, yeah, I guess it's technically removing it. It's also setting the reference. We're not going to do that. We're going to just pull this apart. So this is what it is. This is what we need. Instead of doing that here, we're gonna do that a different way. I wonder, so instead of adding the player controller reference to the item itself, it would actually be smarter and easier to just make an event here in the player. Let's call it well, let's make it first. Let's call it dialogue Let's just call it dialogue for now. I'll rename it in a bit. And in here, we're going to have input. We're going to call it dialogue text for now. This will be the input from the actual item. And there's no item. Is that the item? Oh right, there is a player reference. It's a child. Player ref. And we're gonna get dialogue. No, not get dialogue, dialogue. And we're just gonna input this into that. So the only thing the item itself is going to do, it's going to use this event on the player, and it's going to input its dialogue to the player. We're not actually going to make a variable. We're just going to pass it through to the player, and then the player will pass it to the player controller, which will pass it to the HUD, which will pass it to the dialogue widget. Perfect. All right, and that's about it. We don't need any of this then. We don't need these. What did I delete? Widget delay. Okay, we don't need that. We don't need the dialogue widget anymore. Oh, widget shut off. Shoot. Okay, let's do that, and then we're gonna do widget shut off, which is we're gonna rename, because I think that was basically preventing you from spamming the widget over and over again. That's what that variable was for. That delay. So the widget is going to actually turn off after 5 seconds. So let's make this let's make it 6 seconds for now. So we need to add that branch check. Has this been interacted with? If it's false, then we're going to set this to true. And if it's true, we can't even interact with it. So it won't do anything. It won't add anything to the dialogue widget. So false. And then we're going to play that function in the item itself, which will be a delay. And after that delay, it'll re-enable that, or it'll disable that variable, which will allow you, what's this doing? Oh, okay, it's repeating the function, the main interact function. So that way it disables the, okay, got it, right? Because we used to enable and disable the visibility of the widget here. We're not doing that anymore. So we don't need to do that. We just need to reset that Boolean. Cool. So now we're looking at the player. This dialogue variable, we're going to basically we're going to grab, where is that? This. I guess I should make that. I could make this into an actual function. Dialogue. Oh, we can call it player dialogue update. Keep it consistent with the player health update. Dialogue update. Ooh, but this will be different. This is not player dialogue item. This is item dialogue. Because there might be player dialogue where the player is talking. This technically this doesn't make sense. This is not dialogue, it's subtitles / dialogue. So we'll call it item dialogue update. It's fine. There will be player. There might be a player voice. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. This is like quite a ways away. Realistically, this is just subtitles right now. So let's just move that over here. So this is gonna be dialogue text. And that's gonna be text. We're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna compile. We're gonna come back in here and get item. No, not get. Item dialogue update. There we go. Instead of an event, just put that in a function, clean the event graph a little bit, because we're going to be reusing that a lot. All right. So this event, this item dialogue update is going to do the same thing as the player health update, except it's only really going to update the dialogue. So we're not going to do that. We're going to get this one's going to be different. Right. This one will be slightly different than this one. It's going to be the same thing, except let's just duplicate it. Item dialogue HUD. Whatever. I'll just call it player dialogue HUD. In fact, I can reuse this then on the player then, with the player dialogue, like the player actually talking, instead of just subtitles for when the player interacts with an item. This will have input of some kind, and it's going to be dialogue text. Keep misspelling it. And that is going to be text. And we're not doing this. Also, let's change this. This is now the dialogue widget. And we're not changing player health anymore. We're changing the dialogue. So this... Oh, we don't need the player up here. This will be set text. Set dialogue text. And then we're going to update the opacity of the dialogue widget, which is at the bottom there. I want to see what that looks like. All right, so let's go back from the beginning. Oh, we actually need to do this. Player dialogue HUD. Player dialogue HUD. So we're getting the text from the item, passing that to the HUD, passing that to the widget, the dialogue widget. And really, you could reuse this. I can reuse that for the player HUD, or player dialogue, which is good. All right, let's start from the beginning. So the player's gonna go up to the item. In fact, I might have to fix the whole item blueprint. There's something wrong with it. It looks like the parent is fine. It looks like the parent's fine. BP interactive item. And the interactive item is fine. There, I wonder what happened to the actual... Oh, right, because those variables are gone. The static mesh and the material. Right, okay, so this was a cube originally. It wasn't just a cube, it was a mysterious cube. And it had one of those weird materials. It was reflective. Oh, it was the sky material, basically. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's just add something cool looking. Anything will do. There we go. Now, why is cube so small? Is cube really that small? Oh, that's probably why. Because the yeah, I guess we should use the item structure. We should break this down. We're gonna have to use the item structure to update everything. That way we can update everything on construction for each item. So this will be the static mesh, and this will be the material. That's all we're gonna update for now. The interactive item class defaults. Can I make that? I can make that yeah, I can make that open. So I just need to click on the pickup. No, not the pickup items, the interactive one. I think that's the interactive one. Yeah, that's the interactive one. So that's our mysterious cube from like last or 2 weeks ago, I don't remember. Yeah, mysterious cube. Item structure. So then we set the cube here. And then some random material. There. So that way our actual blueprint doesn't do anything. It'll just be the item structure. All right. So the player's gonna interact with the item. I'm gonna run through this in my head real quick. And that interaction through the interface is going to call this function. This should be by default false. So it'll interact with the item, check to see if it hasn't been interacted with, which is not true. Then it will check and say, hey, I've been interacted with, so flip this boolean, and then get the player and pass this dialogue, which yeah, that should work. Which is going to be, this is a mysterious cube or whatever. It's going to pass that onto the player, and it's going to do widget shutoff, which we should rename. That no longer makes sense. We should do interaction cooldown. Alright, that'll be the cooldown. From this, we're going to the player. That dialogue is being passed through to the player, and from the player we're taking our player controller reference, and we're going to get the player HUD, and we're going to get this event. We're going to get the dialogue passed from the item through to the player, and we're going to set that in the dialogue widget dialogue text variable, which is actually the text that is being displayed on the text component of the dialogue widget. And that will and then after that it'll toggle the opacity of the widget itself. In this case it is the dialogue widget, and that should do it. Also, I don't know why I have it here twice for the health one, but there we go. Let's see what happens. Okay, I figured. I think this is actually hanging off the edge. Where is it? This must be actually hanging off the edge here. I'm thinking the shadow there is what is actually supposed to be the dialogue widget. I don't know why it's like that. Like it's, you'd think it'd be centered. Let's see what happens if I do it here. Oh, okay, yeah, see, there it is. See, that, what showed up there is actually here. But I don't know why this is up there. Also, it's visible to begin with. It should be 0 opacity. There we go. Actually, let me move that. I didn't like the position there. Let's move that down a bit to like right there. One day I'm gonna try to update that so that the box size updates with the text. Actually, why don't we open that now? Because I think I might know how to do it. But let's look at it real quick. Yeah, look, see? There we go. This is a mysterious cube, and then it disappears. And then there's a little bit of cooldown. This is that extra second of cooldown. Yeah, there we go. See? And that's all on one HUD widget, all being handled by the one widget blueprint, which I love. I'm enjoying this. I'm glad that I'm getting some experience outside of making different mechanics basically for different blueprints. This is different. This is outside of the scope of what I learned to do in school and what I focus primarily on. This is some good experience that I'm glad I'm getting. What were we gonna do? We were gonna update our dialogue widget. Let me see if I can change the size of this. There's probably an option here somewhere. Actually, I wonder if I make the image a part of the text. Can you do that? You cannot. I was wondering this when I was making the inventory. Allows widgets to be stacked on top of each other. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I wonder how you do that. Also, I don't think this needs a canvas panel, does it? Oh, that deletes everything. Yeah, I don't think it needs a canvas panel, but whatever. I'll figure this out at some point. At a different time. Because right now I want to finish up the stream. Let's wrap things up. So we're going to close that. We're going to keep the item parent open for a sec, just in case. We're going to keep the HUD open. In fact, the HUD is now going to need the player inventory HUD. Inventory window. And I'm going to open that right in the middle, most likely. We're going to anchor that right into the middle. Okay. So let's fix our well, actually, we don't even need to fix it. I don't think it's broken. Let me open it just in case. Right, it's still trying to set this. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do is, because this is the old inventory. All right, when we interact with this item, we're going to destroy it, but first we want to do some other stuff. We need to add to the inventory itself, which is on the player still, but oh, I never added this to the player, did I? Inventory component. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to do that. Yeah, okay. So we still need to do this through the player. Get player ref, and we're gonna get the inventory component, and we're going to add get inventory first. Get our inventory array. And we're going to add this item to it. And that little blue node there on the bottom is actually the item struct that is on the item itself. That way we can store that information on the inventory. itself. When we add this to the let's do a slight, oh, we can't do a delay because it's a function. That's fine. If for some reason this doesn't work, I'll have to move this destroy actor to the event graph here. You know what, just to be safe, let's make that real quick. Event, custom event. Destroy. Destroy self. Delay. Let's do a 0.2 second delay just to make it not super obvious, and then destroy actor. And then we're gonna do destroy self from here. That way we can actually add a delay so we can make sure that this is added to the inventory, in case if it somehow isn't. So we're adding to the inventory in the component on the player. See, remember when I said that this is as far as I got in the tutorial, so now I need to basically do the rest. And all I want to do now is be able to see the inventory itself. So this is the HUD. We're going to go in the graph. We're going to so it's, the inventory is already there. It's already like visible, basically. This is going to be a bit different. It might depend on whether if I decide to pause game time when I open the inventory, but I can worry about that later. Right now, I just want to be able to see the inventory with some items in it. I don't care if I can click on it or mess around with the inventory, close the inventory. I just want to be able to see it. I can worry about that another time because I want to end the stream as soon as possible. So for now, we're going to copy this actually. Well, we're going to copy that actually. I just want to get the custom event here. Player, inventory, HUD. What we're doing is going to... It should already technically be constructed. It might actually be smarter to construct it instead of having it already there. Yeah, it might be smarter to construct it every time. Because I'm pretty sure the inventory... No, yeah, it's in there. Inventory window is updating on construct, so you would need to refresh the inventory window in order to add the slots, which means you need to construct it. So on the player HUD, we are not going to have this here. Instead, let's just construct it from the HUD. So we need to get an is valid. Nope, not that one. Is valid. We do need a widget player or inventory with inventory window, and that's going to be, you know, inventory window. All right. So we're going to check to see if this is valid. So there's a variable here for a window, or inventory window, but it's not actually created. It's just so that we can store the reference and we can check to see if it's already there or not. So from is not valid, we're going to create widget. I'm probably going to have to worry about the size and the position, possibly. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to set inventory window. And then we're going to add to viewport. Did I keep that on the player? I don't think I kept it, did I? No, I already deleted it. I wanted to see how I... Because there was more after this, but I think that should be it. Oh, right. We need to... HUD opacity toggle, but we're not going to do that for the inventory. It's going to be instant for the inventory. And then here on is valid, we're going to disable or delete, basically. Remove from parents. And then, no, not that. We're going to remove from, hold on. We're going to set this to be empty, basically. No, that should be right, I think. I hope so. All right, let's actually add a key binding to this. So project settings, input, and for this one, we're going to call it inventory. For the keyboard, my favorite inventory key binding is, I cannot fucking read it, tab. But some games also like to add I as an option. So I'm going to put keyboard I. That's not going to work, of course. It's going to make me scroll all the way down. And for controller, I honestly don't know what games use for inventory. In Fallout, they use what button? I'm trying to remember because I haven't played Fallout on a controller in a long time. Well, Fallout is weird because in Fallout on a controller, the top button is jump, I think. I think it's B or circle. Because the first button, A or X, is interact or like, you know, try to pick up an item or whatever. B is inventory and Y is jump for some reason. That's really strange, and only Fallout does that for some reason. I'll do something else. I'll do like a gamepad, D-pad. No, D-pad doesn't make sense. What makes sense for a console controller or control? I'll just do face button right, which is the B or the O button. For now, I honestly don't know. I have no idea what to put in there. I don't remember the last time I played a console game where you had a traditional. Well, it's different on PlayStation because some games use the touchpad, but we're not going to do that. So there we go. We got our inventory set up with the tab. Now on the player, this will be the last step, and assuming it works, don't know if it will, we're going to get our inventory action event, and from that we're going to grab this. I'm really hoping this works. Player inventory HUD God, I'm hoping this works. So on the player, we will toggle the player inventory HUD. In the HUD itself, it's going to check to see if it's a valid reference, or if it's valid, like actually created or not. If it's not, it'll create it and add it to the viewport. If it is, it'll remove it and set the reference to nothing. Moment of truth. Ah! It's massive! It like put it across the whole screen, but you can actually see it. Okay. Okay. What is the size of the inventory window? The border. No, size box. It's 800 by 500. Set size. Set desired size in viewport. 800 by 500. Is that gonna work? Let's see. Yep, that's roughly the same size it should have been. And then we need to adjust the position. Set position. Position in viewport. Is there a way to... Oh, yeah, we would need to anchor it. Set anchor in viewport. Oh. Oh, shit. How would we do this? Alignment? No. This is really strange. This is not... None of these have a line or anchor. Where's one that does have anchor? Oh, right. I guess this, the widget itself. Anchor. Oh, is there like a grid for this? Is it like 0, 1, 2? I'm not entirely sure. So if that's the case, 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2. So 1, 1. Maybe? I don't think so. This doesn't look right. Anchor minimum. How does do? Oh, it's a vector 2D. I've literally never used this. Let's see what that does. And it's gone. It's not even on the screen, I think. Oh, okay. That might not work. Set anchor. Position. I mean, the position's not going to be the same. Well, I'll figure it out eventually. Let's just get it in the center of the screen. I think that will technically be 0, 0, or the top left. Yeah. So we need to move it over about 400 and then a couple hundred down. Okay. That looks pretty close. It looks like it needs to be like 425. 425. And then that should be like 200 actually. That looks about right. And then realistically, we would not be moving around at all. I'm getting errors for something. For loop. Oh. I think it's trying to find items in the inventory and there's nothing. Yeah, there is nothing. So we need to actually like check to make sure that this isn't trying to run when it has nothing in it. If this is equal to 0, then don't run this for loop. If it is not true, then we'll run it. It still had it. It still came up. Where? All right, let's pick up an item actually. Let's see if that'll change anything. Realistically, I just want to see the thumbnail. Let's make a thumbnail real quick. Or put a thumbnail in there. And then a class type. It is going to be not interactive. Pickup. This is also a pickup. Let's just add the same icon. That's all we really need. In fact, we didn't really. Well, I just want to be able to see it at this point. Oh, I do want to be able to actually pick it up. Hold on. I need an actual mesh here. Why are you so big? Why are you so big? Why are these spheres so massive? There we go, that's the regular one. Alright. This should not have changed, right? Pickup? Right, no, we did update it. Okay, cool. It didn't work. Alright, there is a problem here then. Inventory widget. Branch. Inventory. This isn't under the component, is it? What? This is the component, but like, where's the number of slots coming from? That's coming from something. It's not coming from any of the HUD elements I made. I didn't mean to close that, but oh well. I made a variable called that, didn't I? It's not an item structure. Oh, okay. Item component. Okay. Or number, yeah. Number of slots. Was this supposed to have a, this might have, shoot. This is probably supposed to have something. 8 times 3 is 24. Let me just add 24 for now. Oh, but it's gonna go through every single one with that for loop. I'm gonna have to finish that tutorial, and I'll probably do that off stream, and then maybe I'll do a another vlog at some point next week. It's still reading an error. Number of slots. Let me get rid of this. I think we need that, but like, why does it look like every time I'm opening it, it looks like the inventory is moving over a space or two? Branch. It's this. This is having a problem. Oh, I think it's looping. Is it looping, maybe? I hope not. Oh, I don't like messing with loops that much, that's why. But they're very necessary for a lot of things. Am I sure this was supposed to be number of slots? Yeah, I remember. I just didn't have it in the screenshot that I took. Hello, Bonehead. Welcome. You're actually here for the tail end of the stream. Ugh, we got everything working but the actual inventory slots. This is supposed to have a value, I'm guessing, but it's 24. Alright, it was 0. Because I didn't actually get to finish the tutorial. I mean, it should work. Because it should be getting 24 from this. Oh, but this is a different inventory. This is the inventory component on the inventory window, not the player. That is why. So oh, shit. I mean, inventory component. No, that's right. It's 24. So that should be 24 minus 1. That should be working. I don't know why it's not. What is the error saying? Access not try to read property inventory. I think it's having trouble reading that inventory variable. This. Ah. Yeah, because that has nothing in it. I think I need to get that from the player. No. Because the player inventory is component is separate from the right. So we need to get this, all of this passed to the actual HUD itself. So we need to pass this to the inventory window. We need to probably, we can't have a delay in here, can we? We can. Maybe don't have a delay there. Pre-construction? What exactly? Called by both the game and the editor, allows users to run initial setup for this widget to better preview the setup in the designer. Cosmetic updates usually locally owned data. Let's just throw that away. My best guess is that we're supposed to. Where is the I think I closed it. It's supposed to take the HUD itself. And we're creating it here. Set inventory. And we're gonna get the player. Does this have a player ref? It does, okay. Get inventory. Maybe? Well, let's find out. No, it still had a problem there. Maybe I should add a slight delay here. Problem is when you start stacking up small delays like this, it can get noticeable at some point. In fact, let me move this a little bit more ahead of this. If this fails, then I'm just going to call it, and then I will fix this before the next stream and explain basically whatever I was missing. I'm almost certain this should be... There we go. It's all because of the delay. It's just sometimes, you know, engines can be weird. Sometimes they'll load certain things in the wrong order, especially when you're taking references to certain blueprints, and like a bunch of different blueprints are trying to reference other components of the game. If that component doesn't load in time, it can cause, you know, the issue that we were having is it wasn't loading the slots because the player, or hold on, where was it? It wasn't loading the slots in time. It was creating the HUD, which is basically construction, and then trying to pull the inventory from the inventory window itself. But because this didn't get set in time, it constructed nothing. So there's an error because there was nothing there. It was just by default. So this will work. I'll keep that there. But I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to set that to 0 because there's nothing there technically. And then in here, we're going to re-add that branch just to double check and make sure that there's anything there. If the number of slots is equal to 0, then don't even bother with the loop. It's just a waste of processing power. There we go. Cool. So there's nothing there. No errors. We're good. And then, if we pick up these items... there should have been 2 there. So something didn't get updated there. Probably this. I think we need to do this. We need to increment this one by one. Yeah, we need to increment this by 1. Maybe. I'll probably have to fix this, but number of slots. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to fix a lot of this. This is probably temporary, but let's just get this working. There we go. And that delay actually is probably going to make this look pretty ugly. So I wonder... we can technically delay this as well. by the same amount of time, 0.2. And then we add it to the viewport, which should actually, let's do this before the delay. Then we'll delay it, then we'll add it to viewport. That way it can adjust itself before the delay, just to avoid any problems there. It's kind of noticeable. It doesn't turn on right away, but there are ways of working around that. Oh, right. Oh, I guess adding to viewport is technically triggering construct. I think that's what that's doing. So if we get rid of this delay, yep, awesome. Problem is, it's not actually pulling up the icon there. Right, because we actually have to like go in the item, in the inventory slot, go in the graph, on construct, grab the slot content, split that. We need to actually grab the thumbnail. So on construct, we're going to set this image from here. That's not gonna work. Why isn't that gonna work? Image object reference. You get the idea. When I actually get this figured out, that'll update it. So right now it's just a white square, but theoretically there are items there when you pick them up. It's just none of the data is actually updating that slot. But there are slots there, and that's the inventory. That's pretty much it. The only other thing that I could do real quick on the fly in less than a second is update the inventory name. Player inventory. And oh, I guess we also need to pass that on in the player, I think. Yeah, where's the player? I lose it. I lost it. Player inventory HUD. Yes, here basically in the same place. And unfortunately, because we're deleting the quote unquote deleting the HUD, we have to reset the title every time. So we're gonna get the oh, actually we're gonna get it from here. Get inventory title or inventory name, and we're going to set inventory. Oh, I guess that's not a variable. I thought I made that a variable. Yeah, is variable. Title. Oh, it's called title, that's why. Set title. There we go. And that should update it. Player inventory. Awesome. That is a whole... God damn. That is a lot of work to do just to get this working, but it was worth it in the end. So this actually is too much. 375. I'm trying to center it, but I'm probably gonna have to find a different way of doing it. 350. There's got to be a way to just center it directly to the screen, or like, I don't know. We'll figure it out, or I'll figure it out off stream. Not right now. There we go. That's pretty centered. That works. And if I went to go talk to this, whoa. That was strange. Let's do that again. That was weird. I might have double clicked somehow. No, that's really strange. Also, it didn't last that long. It's not staying up for the full 5 seconds. 2, 3, 4, yeah, roughly 5. Yeah, that's 5 seconds. That was really bizarre. Like, huh. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, it all happened the one time, so that's one of those rare bugs that you gotta find it somehow. It might just be something weird going on in the HUD, but whatever. It's fine. It's not a huge issue right now. In fact, since the inventory HUD is there, I'm going to move the subtitles. I'm losing my place. Not here. HUD. Dialogue. Let's set you to 0. There is some padding that I'm missing in the what's it called? The inventory window, but I can fix that another time. I need to be able to see this because I can't see it for some reason. I don't know why it's like that. I have no idea why it's like that. Like, you figured this would be up here, like centered on that. I'll figure it out. Again, I'm relatively new to working on HUDs and widgets. I don't do this very often. Just want to make sure my... Oh, I think that's the exact... See, it happened again. Is it because I had the items in my inventory? Huh. So that's why you don't want to be able to move around and pick up items when your inventory is open like that, because you need to refresh that inventory. What happened there? Okay, it is happening more than once. So what we can do is pull this up. Oh, right, we're not going to be able to do that. This is going to be difficult to debug, but I'll find a solution eventually. That's going to be it. I don't want to go any further. This has gone longer than by like half an hour, I think. I wanted to stop half an hour ago. All right, well, we got a functioning inventory. It's not very pretty. It's not probably not complete yet because I still need to finish that tutorial. There's probably some things here that I need to fix. I need to add some padding so that everything is like not on the very edge of the widget. But it's there and it's working, and I'll revise it over time and, you know, make it better. But for now, we're just trying to get everything functioning for the main production of the game. And we made pretty good progress today. We even updated the health HUD and the dialogue HUD, or the health widget and the dialogue widget, which is nice, so that we can get those off the player and all on the same HUD widget right here. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Anyone that is watching and hasn't subscribed just yet, make sure you do so and hit the notification bell so you get notifications when I'm streaming. So tomorrow I'm going to be playing Dying Light 1, kind of like as a refresher, because Dying Light 2 is coming out Thursday night. And pretty much after, or starting Thursday, I'll be playing Dying Light 2 pretty much until I finish the game. So if you like Dying Light, come join me tomorrow, and starting Thursday will be Dying Light 2. And it'll be at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we're going to do the refresher tomorrow. Just, you know, say goodbye to Dying Light 1. Probably not going to never play it again, but just go on a little trip down memory lane. And then we get to play the new game. Hopefully it's good. Fingers crossed. So join me. Make sure you subscribe. And I will see you next time.